Or there's this system over here and this system over here, this system over here. It's like one more. No, no, no.
And which one am I supposed to be using? Because you
But-
told me last year this was the best way to go. Now you're telling me this way.
There's a ship that doesn't change even when things do.
Welcome to Leadership in the Era of Overwhelm, a 6-part series with Dr. William DeJean and your host David Rogerson, designed for those leading learning in today's high-pressure world. With experience drawn from their real-life experience in education, join us each week to listen, connect, and bring your voice into the conversation.
So welcome to Leadership in the Era of Overwhelm. It's our show that helps leaders who lead learning in the new era. I'm David Rogerson, a master's degree teacher, I'm a lecturer and I'm a mentor, and I currently work in the education sector. And thanks to William, he's given me the opportunity to take over our microphones, ask questions about his new book, A New Way Forward for Schools, Advancing Teaching and Learning in the Era of Overwhelm. William, you are the founder and CEO of Unleash Learning, correct? This sounds like I'm being the judge in a court. Okay. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I promise. I promise.
Okay.
And you've taken over the reins.
Oh, well. In episode 3, our previous episode, we looked at why student engagement is key in the era of overwhelm. And you shared with us a couple of real life experiences. I think it was from WA from memory, where a teaching and learning mission statement actually helped move a class that was allocated to a library back into a classroom.
Yeah.
Now, some of us may go, well, that makes sense. But
It's bigger than that.
Remind us again, why is it bigger than that?
Well, she had to stay in the library, but what happened was she knew the system that made learning stick for everyone.
Yeah.
And when they limited her ability to use that system, she went to the principal and said, wait a second, this is our teaching and learning mission.
Whoa.
And this is the systems thinking, because she understood the key of classroom and how to use that. And if she's being limited, she can't reach the teaching.
And she felt empowered to do that.
Yeah. And there was a common language so
Yeah.
that the principal's like, or the assistant principal goes, oh, that makes sense.
Right.
So there's power in the common language. And also what I haven't mentioned is in the era of overwhelm, nobody can remember, and I don't mean, again, disrespect. There's all these frameworks, like every state has their framework and they have this, but nobody can remember nobody can remember standard 2.5.6, whatever. Or there's a big difference between that teaching learning framework the state network district has that can be really, really good and turning that into action. We call that praxis.
Yeah.
So there's a big gap between what we know by theory and how to turn that into action. And that's what we're really talking about as well in the era of overwhelm.
Well, that's a good segue, if you like, into this episode 4, where we're going to take a look at teaching and learning mission statements in the era of overwhelm. So there are those 6 keys of Unleash Learning systems. Can we just revisit those again to remind those who may have just recently joined us?
Yeah. So the ship, I call it the ship.
Yeah.
Because it could, when people hear that, they'll go, oh gosh, there's more keys. There's this system. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the thing that doesn't change even when things do. So it's a ship, and the ship, just like you can't have the rudder without having the sailboat or the sail. So there's the key of classroom.
Mm-hmm.
There's very specific definitions about that. The key of engagement, the key of inclusion, the key of plan, how we plan in the 3 parts of the lesson, the key of students, how we build a bridge between who they are and the content, and then the key of teacher, key of educator, which is very critical.
We haven't talked about this so far, but really quickly, from what I see in the work that you and I have done, it's not necessarily numerically sequential. Sound like a maths teacher. What it actually is, one begets the other, and sometimes it's actually 3-dimensional. The way in which it comes together.
Exactly.
One actually drives the other, which drives the other, but without that, they don't link.
Exactly. That's it. You can't sail a boat without the rudder, but you still need the sail. So you can't have a classroom without understanding engagement and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So let's have a look at key 3. You've mentioned classroom and students. I've seen plenty of what I call mission statements.
Yeah, haven't we all?
In office buildings, we shall be here to protect the health and the wealth of our shareholders, and in doing so, return funds that make blah, 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 blah. Is that what a mission statement for a school is like? Should I be expecting to go into a school and see these hanging on the wall and everyone doing that? Or
Well, there's two things here that schools have mission statements, which are really important if they're used well. And if you go, a lot of times they have it on the front of the school
Yep.
or they have it on the website.
Yep.
So I'm going to use the word but now, or I should say and.
Yeah.
So I would say why.
Yep.
The mission of the school, there's a why. Why are we really doing this? Or what do we want to have happen, right? But the thing is that a school, and I get in trouble for this, but I'm just still going to say it, is a school is a teaching learning organization.
Yep.
It's not a well-being organization, a social now it is, but I'm talking about where
And in priority,
Yeah.
they may be number 3 or 4,
Correct.
but up the top.
right. And so we need a teaching and learning mission because with the right teaching and learning mission, that's going to inform. So that's the how.
Yeah.
How do we reach our school's mission? We do it through teaching and learning. And so when you've got a teaching and learning mission, otherwise the new state framework or this, you're constantly chasing the new North Star or Southern Cross, if we say it here. So, and I realized that years ago that a school needs a teaching and learning mission that's going to inform how the teacher sails that ship. And it's got to be something that doesn't change even when things do. So the era of overwhelm can't stop you because your teaching and learning mission is not going to change at that school. And it's got to be easy enough to understand. It's got to be connected to people's values. And at the end of the day, what I find about what we'll talk about is most teachers and leaders will say, that's what I'm actually trying to do.
Which means that I guess it's a bit like renovating a house. You need an architect to help you.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a background in building, you could end up electrically doing the wrong thing,
Yeah.
or whether the house falls down or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So how do we go about that? How do you get buy-in? How do you, where does it kind of start? I mean,
Yeah.
if we were athletics, we go, well, you've got to train before you go on the field, but we've already had the training. We've got our degrees and we've worked our way through.
How do we go about
Sure, it's not osmosis.
Yeah. So I write about in the book, when we do this at Unleashed Learning, we call it a staged approach. And we do a leader's first approach. She's played book, a leader's first approach, because there is a process for change. And one of the things that I would just, for the leaders listening, and I say this with deep empathy, and I want them to go get massages and take care of themselves, because in the era of overwhelm, change is even harder. And the reason it's harder is their team, their school are going to be thinking, oh my gosh, one more thing. Or
Change is, can I just
Yeah.
talk it? Change is harder to adapt to or identify
That's a
or
question. Ooh.
alleviate so that it doesn't overwhelm you.
I would say all of it, but I think there's a level of cynicism in this era that people think, oh my gosh, here we go again.
Yeah,
something
yeah.
new.
One more time.
So
Yeah.
there is a way to, we talk about building your success team.
Yeah.
You don't, one of the things we talk about, one of the principles, and W always quotes this, but you don't need everybody, just the right people.
Yeah.
So we need a staged approach to this. It's at least over 3 years.
Yep.
In the era of overwhelm, people want quick fixes and a weekend workshop. It doesn't work that way.
Sure.
But once people get what the teaching and learning mission is, which is to make learning stick for everyone, it can't just be something on the wall. It can't be, we just did this. It's literally, we come to understand what that actually means, and it informs everything we do moving forward. So that's a little bit of a Reader's Digest.
So it's less of a mantra. It's more of a guiding system.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you and I have discussed this many times. The word system frightens some people.
It does.
Because system means, okay, now you want me to be a robot.
Or,
I've got to do 1, 2, and 3. It's
Yeah.
sequential, it's lineal. And if I don't follow it, I'm not a good person.
or there's this system over here and this system over here, this
Yeah.
system over here. It's like one more. No. This
And
is-
which one am I supposed to be using?
Yeah.
Because you
But-
told me last year this was the best way to go. Now you're telling me this way.
There's a ship that doesn't change even when things do.
Yeah.
We're a teaching and learning organization. AI is not the mission. Literacy is not the mission. Well-being is not the mission, but they inform the ship we're using to get to the destination. So that's how I would explain that. And I say that with excitement.
Yeah.
I say that
You
with
do. I've seen
like
your
I
I've
said-
seen your advocacy in
Yes,
this.
and help people repurpose in a time of overwhelm and cynicism and shutting down, that we
Yeah.
can still do really great work
Yeah.
in this era with the right team and the right structure.
I'm glad you talk about team there, because again, during the time in which you're constructing and writing and developing the book, and we had more coffees at Circular Quay
Lots.
than caffeine can hold.
Yeah.
I was a very strong advocate in understanding the difference between a manager and a
Mhm.
leader. You talk about leadership
Yeah.
a lot. In my mind, in a school, the manager is the one that goes, I'm here at 8:59.
Mm.
My door is always open.
Yeah.
But at 11:59, I take 21 minutes for my lunch.
Yeah.
Then I come back and I do this. Again,
Yeah.
I'm broad brush.
Yeah.
Whereas the leader goes, heck no. If that's really important to you, William, I'll come in tomorrow morning at 8:30. Let's go to the coffee shop down the road because we got to nut this out.
Yeah.
And then come back to me. I'm gonna delegate with authority for you to go and do this,
Yeah.
but be accountable for the
Sure.
roles and responsibilities. Is that what leadership in the education area is all about? Taking management away and putting those vital leadership roles back into schools?
Just another total episode. Well, I say it this way, that the hard part for a school leader is there's so much on their plate. And in
Yeah.
Australia, I mean, I've been for 20 years because there's not school districts. The school district can take a lot off of a plate for a principal. So a lot of it's on their plate. So the principal is a leader and they're dealing with buildings and this and this and
Yep.
this. But to lead learning isn't the conversation I think we're having here. And so what the principal needs, and I'm saying need with empathy, and they've told me this,
Yep.
is they need a team approach to lead learning. And we are a teaching learning organization. So about 4 years ago, I was sponsoring a conference and all these school leaders came up to me and said, teaching learning is taking a back seat for us. We've got other things to do. So what I'm talking about is leading learning. And in the book, we talk a lot about how to
Cool.
lead learning
Yeah.
in the Era of Overwhelm, and how you lead it is you put a structure. That's not going to change even when things do. And then you're modeling that structure all the time. And it's actually really fun once it happens. It's fun.
It's
It's
a good way to segue into our next
Yeah, okay.
episode.
Okay.
So we'll do that as well.
Okay.
You've really given us some great insights today, I think, into the teaching and learning mission
Yeah.
in the era of overwhelm. So based on experience of yours in schools, global knowledge, local experience, a real life experience where you've seen a teaching and learning mission help to improve the performance of students and the class.
Yeah. There's one teacher, she's an Unleashed Learning certified teacher. She went and got certification. She called me one day. Let's see, I'll call her Joan. And Joan said, gosh, William, you know what's happening? I said, what? She goes, my students said to me, our class, there's always a buzz in the
Wow.
class. And I said, what's that mean? They said, Miss, the hour flies by. And I said to her, Joan, how is that happening? She goes, because I'm working to make learning stick.
Wow.
And she said, the student said, why aren't the other classes like that? Where the hour flies by, there's a buzz in the room. And she said, you could feel the buzz. And she said, this sounds funny. Once you feel the buzz, you want more of the buzz.
Yeah.
And she says, I want more of the buzz.
It's like an endorphin.
Yeah. So she said, that mission helps me really clarify what I'm doing in here. So there was a buzz in the room. So that's what's fun.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
That takes us on to our next episode where we're going to look at how to take on new information with ease, because that has to be a challenge. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the information you've shared with us today. I just love the knowledge that comes out, and I'm hoping if there's just one thing that we've been able to do in our episode today that enlightens you, we've done our job.
Well, you took over the reins, so you got the mic.
In our next episode of Leadership in the Era of Overwhelm, we'll look at how to take on new information with ease. I'm David Rogerson with the show that helps leaders who lead in learning in this new era. Catch you with William in the next episode.
Leadership in the Era of Overwhelm is designed for those leading learning in today's high-pressure world. Don't forget to like and subscribe below. And if you've got questions, we'd love to hear from you as well.